But, I mean, at this point, aren't you glad that you didn't quit? Because as you keep measuring and as you keep persisting, you will start to see that a pattern is evolving here. As you put those doors in, it looks more like a locomotive. And through patience, these couple of lines start to really more and more look like a locomotive. And this is starting to slowly but surely look like the train that you watch out on the CSX tracks. And this is a great project to work on after school, because after you do your homework, you can sit and you can say, wow, this is the CSX train that I saw. And it's a great way to remember, what you saw on the weekend. And it's a great way to, one of the most important things is that this is a way to practice. As you noticed, you may not realize it, but you just practiced math. That just helped you with your math skills that you're working on in school. And in doing that, you're also learning a lot about geography, because, for instance, this is the CSX train that this engine, like the engine that you might have seen this weekend, is, let's say this train is going from Winter Haven, Florida. Let's say it's going up to the Northwest Ohio Intermodal Facility. And it has double stack containers that are coming maybe from halfway around the world. Well, that helps realize what a big place the world is. And just through your drawing, you're doing a lot of imagining in general as you are drawing. Because see, you're imagining just that this is a real engine, first of all. And as you're imagining the freight it's hauling, it helps in geography class. And it can help in history class as you think about the tracks built by either Baltimore and Ohio, or maybe Seaboard Airline or Atlantic Coastline. And as you think about that, you basically start to really learn a lot about a lot of the concepts that you learn in school. And you don't realize it as you draw a train, but as you basically, every time you practice this, just about everything you learn becomes a bigger and bigger part of your knowledge. But as you practice this drawing, practice will make your lines straighter. And practice, you're building not only a skill, but it's something really fun to work on. And I started drawing in junior high, and I saw trains up in Montana, and the trains that I saw, I was so excited that I wanted to watch them when I was in school during the rest of the year, that I came home and I just started drawing them. So it's much like over the course of the weekend drawing trains. It's almost like rail fanning as an after-school project. And as you draw, you have something to share with the world. And what happens is that, for instance, right here, I'm working on these grills. And as I work on these grills, in the beginning, these grills take a lot of time and practice because they have these very intricate little lines in them. And the intricate lines inside these grills take a lot of patience and practice because inside the grills, the lines have to be straight, and they have to be straight going up and down, and they have to be straight going across. And if they start going at different angles, they start to detract from your eye. And as I've said in other videos, if they detract from your eye, then when you put the CSX logo on the train, it kind of detracts from the CSX logo. And sort of in the end, you really don't want to detract from the CSX logo. But as you learn how to draw, trains have a very important role they play in America. And as you learn how to draw, if you enjoy just watching trains, that's great. So please don't practice drawing if it's not fun. Because the main reason why I started to draw was just because drawing was fun. And if drawing's not fun, you know, there's lots of other fun things to do around trains. Just watching trains is fun. As I've said before, if you just like to watch the train and just see if today it has 4 engines, tomorrow it has 3 engines, there's a lot you can learn about trains. You can see if today's train's heavier than yesterday's train. There's so much you can learn about trains. But if you do enjoy drawing trains, there's so much that you can learn by drawing trains. As I've said before, trains are such intricate pieces of machinery, and there's so much you can learn by drawing them. You can learn where details as small as horns go and the different places where headlights go. And by doing that, you learn the differences in the railroads. You learn the differences in the time eras. And believe me, if you are in rail fan groups or anything, just by drawing them, you learn to look in the different places on the trains. And you'll be surprised how much knowledge you pick up about trains just by drawing them. It's very similar to modeling trains. Actually, it's almost identical for me, I would say. It's sort of my form of modeling trains, is that you have to know where the horn goes. You have to know what kind of horn it has. And if you like to draw trains, one of the best things I would say is that it's a very inexpensive form of both modeling and just enjoyment of the train hobby. Is that with just a pencil and paper and, you know, sometimes even a few pens, you can model, in a sense, trains, because this is a lot like building a model. You know, you are taking a prototype and you're putting the exact CSX details in place, a lot like a model. But as you see the different details that make a CSX engine, they are the same skills that you have in modeling, which one of the things that I highly recommend is that if you are a modeler too, these are basically the exact same skills of modeling. So basically, a lot of people ask me, do you model? And the answer was, well, yes, when I was younger, I did model. But the truth of the matter was, I ended up spending so much time drawing, one, that I really kind of couldn't model anymore. And two, like, for instance, when brand new engines come out, which is actually kind of a thrill if you do start to draw, you'll find that a lot of times when a brand new engine comes out, you know, sometimes they haven't even left places like Erie or Fort Worth or EMD, Progress Rail, anywhere. You will find that you can actually draw it before even photographers have gotten to see it. And the truth of the matter is that that's one of the thrills. That was part of what made me start to draw, is that for instance, you know, the Florida East Coast engines just came out. And as the Florida East Coast engines came out, I drew them as they were just coming out. And as the Florida East Coast engines came out, I was able to draw them right as they were basically being built. And it was very exciting to get to draw them. And believe me, there won't be models for quite a while. But the thing about it is as I was saying, as you see this locomotive, you do start to pick up the CSX details. And as you learn the CSX details, you start to really get a fantastic eye when you look at a CSX engine versus a Norfolk Southern engine or a Florida East Coast engine or a Union Pacific engine.